Okay, we are going to talk about um, installing your web server for class. This is very important. This needs to be done right away, as you will be using this the first week of class. So, inside here is your introductory module, and here's the link that you'll find. Let's go there. Okay, this takes you to ApacheFriends.org, and as you can see here, it's got downloads for all the major platforms: Windows, Linux, and Mac. And um, what we're going to do is the version that the version of PHP that the book uses is 5.5. So we're going to go ahead and download this version here. This is going to be for Windows. Linux I don't do much with, and I don't know. Um, it's not. I honestly have never installed a web server for Linux, so I'm not a good resource for that. But if someone needs that, I will research it and get the answers for you if you do have a Linux platform. Mac, I've never had any issues really installing a web server on a Mac. It's pretty much install and go. So, but if you do run into problems, let me know and I will help you if you have a Mac. But this is going to be for Windows because typically this is where you see the issues. So, um, this is PHP 5.5, so we're going to go ahead and download this. Okay, it just takes a second to download, and shouldn't take too long to get that going. Now it's real important before you start installing. As you can see, it's downloaded already. But before you do the installation, to temporarily disable your antivirus software, it will give you a message if you have not. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and disable it for 15 minutes. Okay. Yes. Alright. So we're going to have my antivirus disabled. And also, if you have Skype, you need to completely exit it. It needs to be completely shut down. Anytime you run your web server, do the installation, you're just, or anytime you are dealing with your web server, you need to have Skype off. That's very important because they usually will conflict. They will usually use the same port. So you need to have that off. So, alright, so I have that downloaded. Let's go ahead and install it. Okay. Yes. And you'll probably get a message about your UAC. I'm the only one this is my machine. I'm the only one on it, so I don't really pay attention to most UACs because I'm the admin and everything. So I usually ignore that. But if you have a shared machine, you probably do need to pay attention to it. Make sure that permissions are set accordingly. Okay. So okay. Alright, so here you go. Let's just hit next. Everything that's selected here, go ahead and keep it. You don't need to change anything. We're just going to go ahead and keep it default. Okay, now I do recommend keeping it at root. If you choose to take it outside of root and put it somewhere else, it's just the hierarchy set up. This is a core. It's very important that it knows that you know where it is. It takes a pretty good file management if you move it. It's like like I said, it's up to you. I always keep my web servers at root, so that's what I recommend. So I'm going to go ahead and select that destination there and hit next. Okay, and I'm going to uncheck that because I don't like to get junk. So hit next. And we're going to hit next. It's going to install. This does take just a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and I'll be back as soon as it's done. Okay, as you can see here, our installation has completed, and we're going to have this checkbox here. Do you want to start the control panel now? And we do. So go ahead and hit finish. Okay. Okay, so what we got going on here is, let's go ahead and, for right now, let's just go ahead and try to, well, let me backtrack just a little bit. These two services here, Apache and MySQL, these are the services that we're worried about. These are more file transfer services, so we're not going to worry about them. But what we want to do is here, and this is going to resolve probably 90% of the issues that come up. Okay, so as you can see right here, this port is in use. So that is an indicator that something obviously is using the port that Apache's going to need to run. Okay, so what we need to do here is, when you see something like that, or if you go and you start, go ahead and hit start, and it doesn't do anything, okay, that is telling you that there's something wrong. So, well, obviously. So most of the time, if that happens, what you can do is go into your task manager. Okay, and in processes, look for your Apache. Okay, well, that's the reason why, is that I have two Apache services running at the same time. Okay, you're going to see that typically after you've done an install. So let's go ahead, and what you'll do is end task, and then you're going to end the task for the other one too. Okay, and that should end as well. There we go. Okay, and then just double check and make sure MySQL is not running by chance, which it's not. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that, and then let's try to start this again. And as you can see, it's running now. Attempt to start Apache app, status change detected, and it is running. Let's go ahead and start MySQL, and it also is running. So we are good there. Just to verify, let's go ahead and close the control panel. And let's come here, and then to access, or to test to make sure that our server is running correctly, you're going to type in localhost into your browser and into your URL bar, and that's all you need to do, localhost, and there you go. So what it's done here is it's pulled up a file that is pre-existing inside the Xampp download, and that's what is displaying here. Now, where is that file located? Well, let's go there and find out real quick, and I will show you. Now, this is if you kept your installation folder, or the installation path. If you kept that default, it's going to be in your C drive, and it's going to be in the Xampp folder. Okay. Now, what we're looking for is the HT docs. This is where you will live this semester. This is where everything is going to be installed. Okay. This index.php, sorry about that. This index.php file is the file that let's go back there. Is the file that is displaying this. All these others, basically all these, are displaying and supporting this dashboard. Okay, and that can all go away if you'd like. Let's go ahead and run a quick test to make sure that everything is running correctly. Sorry about that. Oh, heaven's sakes, I can't. Alright, we're just going to print out a simple output statement. Alright, so this little PHP statement is just simply for a test. So let's go ahead and save. We want to save, make sure we're saving it in the HT docs folder inside of Xampp. Okay? It's very important that it gets saved there. Now we're going to call this test.php. Make sure that you're saving. I like to always do this double just to make sure. PHP. Oop, darn it. Sorry about that. Okay. So we've saved that, and so there's our test.php. It's inside of htdocs, okay? Let's go ahead and minimize that. Now what we'll do is we'll come up here and we're going to replace this dashboard. Okay, essentially localhost is the same as if you go to the internet and you type in www. Okay, it's the same thing. This is taking you, this is your server, okay, and we are querying that server. So I'm looking for the test.php. There it is. The mission is a success. So as you can see, our web server is working correctly. No hiccups. Everything seems to be pretty normal. If you run into problems, other than trying your basic troubleshooting steps, restarting your machine, verifying that Skype is completely closed, make sure your antivirus is off. Your antivirus only needs to be off during installation. Keep that in mind. It doesn't need to be off if you're running it after it's been installed. You need to allow your firewall, if your firewall opens up and says that it needs you to make an exception for Xampp, you need to allow it. Yeah, because it does use a port, so like I said, you will get a firewall message. Now, but yeah, if after all those normal troubleshooting steps you still have issues, reach out to me immediately and we will get it resolved. But I need to make sure that you understand that you need this web server installed because it is required for the first week of class for homework. So it's very important that you have it installed, okay? All right, take care.